Hi, I'm Phyllis, southernfrugal.com. I wanted to share with y'all some of the things that have happened to do with our RV. Now, we bought our RV the first of last December, so we've had it a year, and we've only taken one trip, and that was to Brunswick, Georgia. We stayed one night, and we couldn't figure out how to open the little connection for the sewage and the black water and the gray water. Tried everything we knew and we couldn't get it open. Of course, now we know it's very simple to get open. Just put a little screwdriver in there and flip it and it comes right open. And I had to call Tiffin to find out about it. So the RV is a 1996 Tiffin Allegro 39-foot diesel pusher. So if y'all have watched some of the other videos, I did a video driving that back from Greenville to the central part of South Carolina, about 2.5 hours. And while I was driving it back, it started raining a little bit. And the only way the windshield wipers worked was if you push the button to get it to go back and forth, like twice, and then you couldn't cut it on. So I spent a good deal of the time riding back pushing the button, driving with one hand and pushing the little button with the other hand. It wasn't raining really hard, which was a good thing. But then we finally got out of the rain and got on home, and anyway, it was pretty scary. So now I do drive the RV. Mr. Bucky doesn't, because it's been 20-some years ago, he kind of crushed his ankle, so his that right foot doesn't bend like most people's will bend. So he actually has trouble even going up steps sometimes. So anyway, we knew I was going to be driving it. And I thought I did pretty good. But we are trying to learn all the stuff to do with the RV, and I thought it was a good idea, and Mr. Bucky did too, to get the tire pressure monitors. Now, the back two tires are right beside each other, so the inside tires have a little stem coming out. It's an extra connection. So when I put the sensor on there, it kind of tilted that little extra stem out, and it let the air out of the tires. So it did one of the tires, and we pumped it back up by Mr. Bucky making 5 different trips down to the gas station to fill up an air tank we have. And then when it finally got to 76 psi, it wouldn't fill it up anymore. And so anyway, we finally got the tire okay. And then I didn't check the tires again for months, and so when we were planning to take a trip here about 3 weeks ago, before we left we were going to check the tires, and so we checked them, and the one on the inside on the driver's side was completely flat. It had three PSIs in it. I think I did a video on some of that, but I really don't remember. It's been a while. So anyway, knowing I would be the one driving it, I got very discouraged and untrusting, I think would be the word, untrusting, and just nervous about it. We did have reservations 2 different times to go to the beach, and both times we had a hurricane. Both times. It was unreal. And the one place that we were going, even a month after the hurricane, they still were not open. And of course, we got refunds on all that, but still, we missed our trips then too. So we were just in limbo on the RV and really knowing what to do. So I called different places, and I wanted to get the windshield wipers fixed, and I really wanted somebody to pump the tire up, but nobody even knew what I was talking about. And I said, aren't there trucks that come out, and can pump a tire? No, and we also found out that AAA would only come out and tow it. Now, we belong to AAA, and you get 3 tows a year, I think. And then we started looking up in the book. We didn't like the way they were going to tow it. So we finally just called them back and said, no, don't send anybody. We were just we just didn't know what to do. I mean, I didn't like the way they were going to tow it, and Mr. Bucky certainly didn't like it. So we just decided to wait, and we had prayed about it, y'all. We prayed about it several times, and we were just waiting, and we just said, we're just going to wait because, we don't know what to do. So several days went by, and Mr. Bucky and I were in Columbia. I was driving because I was driving the Kia. And so we were coming back. We were about halfway home, kind of coming up a hill. And on the dashboard, a little light came on, a little warning light. And it was like a little horseshoe upside down with an exclamation point in the middle of it. And of course, we haven't read the owner's manual. We read it a little bit, but not much. And it's hard to understand what our car has on it and what it doesn't have on it based on the book, and the model it is. So I couldn't figure it out. So finally, I just said, okay, why don't we just call Kia? So we called their main office, and I asked the girl what that meant, and she said, oh, you'll have to take the car to a dealership. I don't know what that means, but something's wrong. Okay, something's wrong. I said, well, is there someone else I could talk to? So she let me talk to another lady. I think she was in the parts department, and she said, well, what does it look like? I said, well, the warning light looks like an upside down horseshoe with an exclamation point in the middle of it. And she immediately said, you've got low pressure in your tires because the model comes with a pressure monitor, I guess, built inside the tire. And so I said, oh, okay, that's good to know. And we've got a tire place right here in our little town. So I said, well, we'll just take it down there, and we checked the pressure, and of course it was low on all 4 tires. So I'm the one that I was on my way to the grocery store because you could still drive the car. I mean, it didn't seem really to be anything wrong with it. And in the way it steered or anything, it just had low pressure. So we took it down, or I took it down on the way to the grocery store. And the nice gentleman there, he was so nice, he said, oh no, I can do these tires for you. I can pump them up. And he said all 4 tires have the lower pressure on all 4 tires. And that's because, it's been in the summertime, and now it's colder weather, and we have this problem usually with everybody's car. The tire pressure changes once the weather is cool. And we had our first frost, so it had definitely got cold at night. So he pumped them up, and I thanked him, and of course there was no charge. And so while I had his attention, I said, well, do you know anyone who can, or first I asked him if y'all could fix windshield wipers in an RV and pump up the tire. And I had checked with them before, and their parking lot wasn't really big enough for me to bring a 39-foot RV in there. I could bring it in, but then I was going to have trouble getting out. So we decided against that. But anyway, to get to the point, so while we were standing there talking, and he said, well, wait a minute. I know somebody who can fix anything. And I said, you do? And he said, yeah, let me call him for you right now. So he takes out his smartphone and he calls him. And I could tell they were really good friends the way they were talking back and forth. And he said, I've got a lady here who has an RV and her windshield wipers don't work. And could you come by and check them? And I don't know what he said back and forth at that point. And anyway, he said, okay, well, here she is. So I had his his little smartphone. And the guy said, well, sure. He said, are you Miss Phyllis? And I said, yes, I am. I had no idea who I was talking to. And he said, well, aren't you Mr. Bucky's wife? And I said, well, yes, I am. And he said, well, I'll come by in a little while and check that out. And he did. And wonder of wonders, he can fix anything. I got to sneeze. Hold on. Okay, I'm good now. All right, so anyway, he came by, and his name's Richard, and it turns out he only lives a few blocks from us. But his profession and what he does along with a partner, they have a business and they, of course, work on the big rigs, which are, of course, always diesel. And he knows all about air brakes, he knows about tires, he knows about windshield wipe, everything. And I'm thinking, where in the world has this man been? We could have used him a year ago. And I started thinking about it. Wait a minute. This is how God's answering our prayer. This is how. Because the little light came on in my little Kia. I went down, got the tires pumped up. No, there was no problem with any tire. They were just low pressure because of the change in the weather. And I just happened to ask him about the windshield wipers on the RV. He can do anything to do with a tractor trailer truck, anything, and anything with an RV, and he owns an RV. So he came in, and sure enough, when he took the little windshield wiper connection out, he said, this thing works fine until you put it back in that little round hole place where it goes. And he said, let's just leave it out because it's not the windshield wiper motor or anything. That's working fine. It's not a fuse. And I've checked all the connections and they're all okay. It's just something about putting it back in that little hole that it goes in. So we're just going to leave it out and test it out, and see if it doesn't work again. And we might just need to get a new switch. But anyway, so then he decided that he would help me out with the whole RV. So he started going over everything and crawled under it. We put the leveling jacks up and down, did everything. And he, of course, his dad was a highway patrolman in our county. And one time, many years ago, he gave Mr. Bucky a ticket. Now, Mr. Bucky then was a big, important person in the county because he was, worked in the school district and everybody knew him. And but he gave him a ticket anyway because he was speeding in a zone. He was trying to get from one school to another. And anyway, they became friends. Well, he passed away a number of years ago, and I certainly didn't know his son, but this man, Richard, is his son. So they had a good time reminiscing and talking about things to do with the county. And he, I guess, out of the goodness of his heart, he just decided to go over everything because he knew how uneasy I was certainly about the tires. And as it turns out, he had the truck with the air pressure thing right on the truck. No problem getting all the tires to the right PSI, and he strongly suggested I not put on the pressure temperature monitors. He said people have a lot of trouble with those, and of course we certainly had trouble because 2 tires went flat with them because of the stem that goes out, and it was cocked at a little bit of an angle. It was just a slow leak on both the inside tires. So anyway, he checked all of it out, and so we are planning to go on a little short trip soon. And even though it's wintertime, because we need to learn how to do everything. But after he finished with all this that he was doing, and I felt confident enough to drive from South Carolina all the way to California and not have a problem. He said the motor was in excellent shape, that there wasn't one thing wrong with it, checked all the fluid, everything was in tip-top shape. And as he was leaving, he turned around, he said, now if you and Mr. Bucky ever decide to sell this RV, please call me first. What more can you say, right? And so he really, really liked it. And of course it's diesel, and just like the trucks. Now, I asked him because he did part of the work, and he works on big rigs, and when things break down, he's always on call. And so he got a call, he had to go, he was gone maybe an hour and a half and came back and finished up. And so I asked him to do with Thanksgiving weekend because he works 95, and if you've ever been on 95, Interstate 95, somewhere in South Carolina, and you've ever broken down in an RV or a tractor trailer, him or his partner probably came to help you. I mean, it's just unreal. He was so nice. And anyway, he told me that over the Thanksgiving weekend, they had to go to do with, I think it was 6 units. He didn't tell me how many were trucks or how many were RVs. And then one wreck of a tractor trailer. He said the guy, I don't know if he fell asleep or what, but he ran off the road and hit a bunch of trees, and it just busted his lip, but he was fine. But it kind of messed up the truck. So when they go on calls, and they're on call for several different companies like the AAA and Good Sam's Club, and I forget who else, but he is gone. I mean, he could get a call at 3 o'clock in the morning and, have to go. And so I was so impressed with how much he knew about because really a diesel pusher is like a truck motor. I mean, everything's the same. So we also, I had never taken that little thing on the fuel filter where you get the water out of it. And he showed me how to do that. And one of the things that I didn't know, he said, catch the diesel fuel in a little glass container. That way, if there's water in it, you can see it real quick. Well, when he checked it, there wasn't a drop of water in it, not a drop. And that other little thing under there that I thought was the fuel little filter water checker thing is actually the air thing. I don't know what you call it, air pressure thing. And what you do is just pull it down just a touch to make sure there's no water in it, because sometimes water forms in it for some, I guess if the humidity's high outside, I don't know about it, but I know how to check it. And he showed me that. And also, I forgot this. The other thing was the house battery, not the house batteries, the RV batteries were completely dead. Completely. They would not take a charge or anything. So he got another call, so he had to go, and he told me which batteries to get. So he said, y'all go to Columbia, go to lunch, and go get these batteries at Interstate Batteries. And I went ahead and called Tiffin to make double sure what kind of batteries we needed for the motor batteries, the ones that are in the thing close to the motor, wasn't the house batteries, because those are new. And so sure enough, we went down and picked them up and came back, and we hadn't been back 15 minutes. Then he was through with whatever he went to do, came back and put them in. Now, Mr. Bucky thought he might be able to put them in, but after watching Richard put them in, no, I don't think either one of us working together could have gotten them in because of all the different wires coming in there. So anyway, my whole point in this is to tell you that God answered our prayer in a really unusual way, in the way that we were able to go down to our little local tire place, and the guy knew who Richard was. They were good friends, and but we had no idea that someone like that would know everything about RVs too. So the other time when we tried to get the windshield wipers fixed was calling a place up in the next county, Lexington County, and the guy, there's a 3-week wait on anything he does, and what you have to do is bring your RV there and leave it for 3 weeks until he gets to it. And that was a little discouraging. Plus, it was going to be kind of hard to get there because you had to go through a residential area to get off back in the woods where he was. So we kind of didn't like that idea. You know what I'm saying? But God answered our prayer, y'all. It was just amazing to me when I thought back about it. And to start with, I wasn't thinking a lot about, oh, well, this is the Lord answering that prayer, until Richard got here and started going over everything. And then I knew he was God sent. I mean, there was no other way to put it. because he was so thorough, he was so smart. I mean, just any question you had, he answered it immediately. And he told me that the RV was in great shape, and that he said he wouldn't be afraid to get in it and drive it anywhere. That's how good the motor is. So, and the tires are fine. All of them are to the right PSI now. He just said, do not put the sensor pressures back on, especially those two inner tires. So that was that, y'all. I wanted to share it. It's Sunday evening, and we had a really great church service this morning. And I thought, I really should share what the Lord has done in this situation. So I know some people don't believe that you can pray about everything. We do, though. I mean, everything. Because we just think God knows everything about everything. And he certainly knew who Richard was, and he knew he lived right here in our town. Can you believe it? Now, he wouldn't have been listed anywhere for repairing RVs. But the fact that our RV is a diesel pusher, that it's a Cummins truck motor, 300 horsepower, I think. I don't know what the other size is, because I don't know what all that means. But he was impressed with the motor, I can tell you. So the other thing he told us to do is to, because Tootie keeps getting up in the backside of our RV. And I don't know why she keeps doing that, because the motor is not warm or anything. But he said it would be a real good idea to get, the motor only has the one belt, and I think they call it a serpentine belt. And he said, you need to go down to Cummins Atlanta, which is in Columbia, South Carolina, a branch of them. And he said, what you need to do is call Tiffin first, get the part number from them for this belt. And then I want you to call the Cummins place in Columbia. Ask them what part number, because we had to give our serial number on one at Tiffin. And in Columbia, we had to give the serial number on the motor, I think. And the other, anyway, I don't remember how it was, but we got all the numbers straight. And so, sure enough, Tiffin and Cummins both gave us the same part number for the belt. So we had to order it, and it's going to be in Monday. So Mr. Bucky and I are going to pick it up on Monday. And we're going to use that time to go eat at California Dreamin', because we love their salads. And it's going to be over on that side of town. So that's just an excuse to go out to eat, right? So anyway, I just wanted to share all that with y'all. I am always amazed at how God answers prayer in just a way you wouldn't ever expect. But he got the right person here to get us straight on the tires, to tell us what the problem was, and to also get the two batteries for the engine. Not the house batteries were new, so they were no problem. But anyway, the Lord answered, and we are very thankful that he did. Richard told us, anytime you have any kind of problem to do with this RV, call me. He said, I don't care if y'all are out in Texas, you call me on the phone and I will tell you what to do, or we will get you in touch with someone who does know what to do. He said, you just call me anytime. And just beyond nice, way beyond nice. All right, so I've shared that with y'all. And if you have any comments, y'all leave them below. But we are just really praising the Lord for what he did. And I just felt like I really needed to share that and give God the glory for helping us. All right, we'll see y'all next time. Bye for now.